Hello, and welcome to Outer Spaces, a podcast dedicated to empowering designers and contractors in the outdoor living space.
Through this show, we hope to create a powerful resource for you, someone who is trying to grow their company but might not have all the tools and processes to do so.
On Outer Spaces, we are passionate about breaking the chains of small mindsets and helping contractors just like you take control of their businesses and their lives. My name is Joshua Gillow.
And I'm Dwayne Drawn.
Through our 40 years of combined dirt under the nails experience, we look forward to sharing tips, strategies, and other contractor success stories here on the Outer Spaces podcast.
Without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Hello, welcome back to the Outer Spaces podcast, sponsored by Yes Express, where we help you get your clients to say yes with a lot less stress. Today, I have a super special person here on the podcast. I've been on his podcast, and it's been a really fun journey to watch him grow. And I wanted to bring him on, the Outer Spaces, in order to discuss something. We'll get to that in a minute, but something really interesting. I think you guys are going to find value in. He's the owner of Dream Design Labs. They focus on residential contractors only with this thing he does, and we'll get there in a moment. Also, he is the host of the Christian Contractor podcast. So, without any further ado, Brendan Guthrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate you having me here. You've been so awesome and so supportive, and just like full of knowledge and wisdom. And so it's been a blessing for me, and to just hang out with you, and glad to be here and excited to see what we'll be able to cover today.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm excited. And with an entry like that, I'm just going to let you start the podcast next time. I could hear that all day long. That works nice. Anyway, Brandon and I, we came together here. He's, another very mission-driven man, and, he's really helping the industry, the residential contracting industry, in a little bit different way. So today we're going to get into that and how he does that, and how he makes, he kind of automates the marketing platform for people who don't want to be sitting there chasing around leads and all that stuff. He has a way to do that can help people tremendously in their businesses. But before we get into that and get into the deeper realms of that, Brendan, where do you come from? Did you start? Are you a contractor? Like where did you grow up? What do you do? And what's your favorite color?
Yeah, for sure. Oh man. So, I'll go with this. So, I almost killed myself.
Wow. Okay.
Drugs pumping through my veins, blacked out drunk. I thought, this is how I die.
Wow.
Reverse 2014, Huntington Beach, California. So born and raised in Huntington Beach, California. I quit my day job as a marketing manager at a national barbecue brand, went all in on my business. I was doing a side hustle, and finally I made the transition to go all in. I thought, man, this is it. I'm going to retire and live the good life. I was like, yes, I own my own business, got money coming in. This is great. I'm going to retire and live the good life. And that's where I first went wrong, was I made it all about myself. I made it all about me living my good life. And what ended up happening was I got consumed with living this good life and made that the driving force of everything that I did. That eventually, that's what happened. I started to seek to live the good life, and I started to go out with the boys. Okay, we're gonna go out one night a week, and it turned into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights, 6 nights, 7 nights a week. Before you know it, I was getting blacked out drunk just about every single night.
Wow.
And it got so out of hand that I eventually even let it get into my work. I actually started this is a true story. I showed up to a meeting, like fully intoxicated, passing out at the table. Like, what was I thinking? It got super, super out of hand. So what happened from there was I started losing my clients because I started to I wasn't respecting my clients. I was making it all about myself. I wasn't making it about them. And before you know it, 1 dropped off, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you know it, majority of my clients had dropped off, and majority of my income. And what's funny is I didn't even care, because I was getting fulfillment from my drinking and partying and hanging out with my friends. I was, things were falling apart. I was like, I'll just go out again tonight. I'll be fine.
Yep.
And eventually, and inevitably, I was faced with the eviction notice. So, boom, eviction notice. And so naturally, now with no income and an eviction notice on my door, I had to move back in which is one of the most humiliating things for me. I know there's way worse things in the world, but for me at that time, it was like the worst of the worst, which is I was forced to move back in with my parents as like a full grown adult, just
Ouch.
like, dude, no. Okay. So, and dude, when I first got home and the door first slammed behind me, it felt like a prison door was slamming behind me. Like it killed me. It seared into my soul. And I had a sobering moment finally. And at that moment, at that time, I had a sobering moment. And honestly, it was a moment where I felt like I was being connected to what God was trying to tell me, that I had gotten way off the path that he had for me. And, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, hit me like a freaking freight train, dude. I was like, what the heck, dude? What just happened? I feel like I just woke up and I'm like in my parents' spare bedroom and I'm like, what? How did I get here? And man, it just hit me right then and there. I knew I was going to have to do two things. And I knew it was going to be the best thing that could have happened to me. I knew one, I had to get my life right, back on track on the path that God had for me, and operating on biblical principles, operating on honor and respect and being trustworthy and reliable and putting my serving first. So biblical principles, number one. And number two was I needed to figure out how to advertise so I could get myself out of this hole, right? Market myself. Up till then, I had been really all based on referrals. So, okay, I got to figure this out. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be at my parents for like a couple months. Ended up being a couple of years. I went all in on trying to figure out Facebook ads, Google ads, figure out copy, messaging, funnels, landing pages, follow-up, automation. Dude, I went all in, as in like 16, 18-hour days, barely eating, barely sleeping, losing hair, skin pale as paper. I actually even had my then girlfriend, now wife, stepdad say, he's like, what's wrong with Brandon? And it was because I hadn't been eating. And I literally was doing nothing except for just trying to get myself out of this hole, hone in on my craft. And luckily, I was left with one $800 a month client left. That's all I had. And guess who it was?
Who's that?
It was my dad. My dad was our last client. So I was like, okay, I'm going to this is going to be my guinea pig. And he actually was a general manager at a motorcycle dealership. I grew up racing motocross. So that was like my world. And he was a sales manager or a general manager at a dealership. And I was like, okay, let me try to figure out Google ads, paid ads, Facebook ads for you guys. And dude, it was like failure more than you could ever imagine. Just fail. I felt like I always say I felt like I was being dragged across broken glass and hot coals, and I felt like I was being waterboarded every day. Like it was gnarly, dude. It was freaking gnarly, and it was tough. But I kept pushing. I kept trying. I kept taking mentors out to lunch. I kept watching my YouTube videos. I read every freaking book under the sun. I listened to every YouTube motivational video I could ever think of, or even an educational YouTube video. I was waking up super early. I started to run. I was listening to Zig Ziglar, and I was listening to Jim Rohn and so many other amazing motivational people, and trying to get my mind right, get my mind off of really shifting and becoming a man of value. And so I kicked, I screamed, I cried, I tried everything under the sun. I just felt like if I would just keep pushing longer than the person that is going to give up, if I could just push a little bit farther than the guy that gives up, then I knew I could make it. So fast forward to 2020. This was 2016. And then fast forward to 2020, we landed the 2 Comma Club Award, which is $1 million through a single funnel. And that was for a residential contractor. And then fast forward to 2021 and 22, we landed the 2 Comma X Club Award for the, which is $10 million through a single funnel. So
yeah, that's sweet.
And yes, thanks, dude. And so the question is like, what did it, right? Okay, what's the secret sauce? And we can obviously get into talking more about all the fun stuff, but what it came down to was, man, I tried so many things. I wasted so much money, time, effort, tears. It came down to, if I had to distill it down into 3 words, it would be ads, funnels, and automation. Those 3 things.
Got it.
And so here we are today, and now we're growing as a team, serving residential contractors only. We've made that decision to practice patience and self-control, to say no to the wrong people. And that way we know the right people will say, wow, you truly are dedicated to us. So
I love that, Brennan. Thank you for sharing that with us. But before we get into the wonderful world of where we're going next, is you talked about, alcohol consuming your life and how it controlled 7 days a week. And eventually you lost everything you had except for one client, which was your dad, and you moved back into the house with him. So I was curious if that 800 was to pay rent or whether it was in addition to that. It's a different story. But anyway, how did you break that cycle besides shutting that door and kind of realizing you're back where you started? How did you break that cycle? How did you break and you get away from the alcohol and put that shit behind you?
Man, so it was a couple of things. Number one was that I personally had God in my heart, and I knew what I was doing was wrong and wasn't the path that God had for me. And I felt like I just knew that. So I felt like, for one, I felt convicted, and I felt the voice and message of God in my mind just telling me that, dude, you're doing it all wrong. You're trying to do it your way. Let me show you my way. And that was number one. And to be honest, number two was I met my then girlfriend, now wife. So that was a big factor for getting out of that as well. And the how was more, dude, I shifted gears. I said, I'm going to make it all about serving others. I flipped the script. I said, actually, this is a 100% thing. I definitely said, I'm going 1000% effort on serving others. That was like a huge, for sure shift that I made.
Yes.
And I'm going to go all out 7 days a week, serving others, giving value. And I went ham.
That's awesome. Dude, I love it. And there's something so powerful about shifting that mindset from trying to self-serve, right? Because that's what we're taught. We're taught so often that, hey, we have to make sure we always get our nut. We always have to make sure we're taken care of. No one else is going to come save us. We got to go after us. And the problem is the ego starts to take over. When the ego takes over, it's all about me. And unfortunately, that lifestyle, and that not necessarily your story, but that lifestyle in general is what, I lived for the longest time, was just, okay, how do I get more for me? And I had a hell of a time building teams, and I wasn't growing. I was stagnating. I could only do everything for me. And, once I realized what you realized as well, this is so much bigger. And for me, it was UPW and Tony Robbins where he opened that door for me. And he's like, the secret to living is giving. And I was focused on my fulfillment side coming from being significant, because I was never significant. I was a fly in a wall. I played the saxophone in the marching band, for Christ's sake. I mean, seriously, I was not the coolest kid in school. Most people didn't even know I existed. So with that being the case, now I was like, oh my goodness, I have a business. I can now become, successful and significant and all that. And I started doing Ninja Warrior and all that stuff. And it was fun because I had some cool stuff to show on social media. And now all of a sudden I'm cool. And I've never been that in my life. Right. So I started to get to that point, but Tony says something that's very interesting, that he says, if you chase significance as one of your, human needs, there's 6 of them. If that's your main one, you're going to find yourself old and unhappy and probably broken too, because significance is always others have to accept you, right? You don't accept yourself as much, like others have to accept you. And once they say and they praise you and all this, and you feel better. But when you change that and you shift to giving and to, and helping other people, you get so much more back than you give. It's incredible. It's like constantly filling your bucket, your fulfillment bucket, by helping others fulfill theirs. And to your point, all of a sudden life becomes so much more robust and so much more beautiful. And you get amazing, texts from people saying, dude, I was listening to the podcast and I tried this and holy crap, it worked. Or, and you just like, wow, it just fills your soul because all you're here to do is help and serve. So I'm so glad that you found that path of service. And it's amazing to hear your story. And that was pretty extreme, that one side to the other. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Flipped the script, made it about serving, and it changed everything.
That's so powerful. Are you trying to grow your landscaping or hardscaping company, but find yourself making the same mistakes over and over and not sure what step to take next? Do you feel like your business owns you and you don't see a path to long-term happiness, growth, and sustained profitability? If this sounds like you, don't miss Outdoor Living Summer Camp. This live event will equip you with the lessons Cruz and I have learned from growing wickedly profitable 7-figure businesses while significantly reducing daily stress and preserving that sacred time with family. And as a bonus, we're also going to teach you how to recession-proof your business so you continue to grow through any economic condition. Text FREEDOM to 33777 or follow the link in this episode's description to get more information on Outdoor Living Summer Camp. Tickets are limited, so get yours today. Well, now we're going to get into the elephant in the room here. So when it comes down to it, I know that you at Dream Design Labs, you focus on helping residential contractors with the marketing side of things. I know when I first met you, I've heard of this thing called funnels, and I kind of looked, I'm sure I was part of a couple of sales funnels throughout my my buying experience as a human. But to be quite honest with you, I didn't understand their capacity, what they do, how they make my life easier. Are they kind of, kind of hokey? Like, is this kind of weird? Do my clients like or dislike them? That kind of thing. So I know that, when I think of funnel, I think of something I put in the gas tank before I pour the gas can in it, right? So my question to you is, walk me through from like a 3rd grade perspective of what a funnel is, how it can impact my business and make my clients more, or send me the right clients more by doing a lot of the automation, the work for me. So I get good leads to chat with.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, a lot of people get funnels. The original funnel is a sales funnel, which we're all used to seeing. And now, honestly, Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels has transformed the meaning of a funnel to instead of a vertical funnel, it's a horizontal funnel. So, in a simple version and simple explanation, a funnel is a "do you want fries with that" concept sales process. So, instead of running an ad, sending someone to a landing page, asking them for their info, and then having them see a thank you page, instead, what if we could get your ideal clients in via curiosity on the first step of a funnel, and then move them down a process and ask them, do you want fries with that? So when we bring them in on curiosity, we can ask them, hey, now that you're here, would you like to also request a free estimate? Or, hey, now you requested a free estimate, would you like to go ahead and just book your in-home design estimate while you're here? Hey, thank you for booking your in-home design estimate. Would you like to apply for financing right now? So you could do anything, but the whole magic of funnels is it's the commitment consistency bias. It's a human psychology factor. Whenever you say we've all heard of it. Whenever you say yes once or twice or 3 times, you're more likely to say yes another time. So by taking people through a process like that, you're more likely to get them to take the action that you desire. And through the process, you can actually qualify your leads way better because you can ask them more questions before you ever even waste your time contacting them. So that's basically what a funnel is. It's a series of landing pages tied together and using them in a unique way to further qualify and further sift through and qualify your leads.
I love that. No, it's really cool. Now, the cool part about funnels, I know that you sent me yours and I kind of went through, one of your examples that you had. What was neat about it is you can do, videos, you can tie into questions. It's kind of like an integrated questionnaire / video explanation kind of, hey, look, I'm Joshua. Here's what I can either offer you, or here's a value that can be brought, or have you thought about your project from this perspective? So it's like an automated sales process. You know how much I love automation and sales. So with that being the case and automating it this way, I can imagine there's tons of value getting a client in that's kind of pre-vetted. So when you come into a sales process after that, then you're talking to the right people and you're not wasting a ton of time on others. That's why I wanted to bring in a podcast, because that's our biggest thing, is preservation of our most precious asset there is, which is our time. So how can we do that and make sure that people that we are spending time with, talking on the phone or going out to look at projects, that they're going to be dead ringers and not wasting just tons and tons of time, those Friday nights and those Saturdays where you're away from your family, all to be out chasing those leads. And you figure if I got a 15 or 20 or 30% closing rate, then that means I have to see basically 3x over it to 30% closing rate, 3x over what I'm actually going to sell. So now I've got to waste 2/3 of my time to get 1/3 back, in actual revenue. So that's insane. We dealt with that. That's why we started Yes Express, we had our own company now to spread it to others as well and help them save that time. But this actually puts it even before Yes Express, where this is the leads coming in. You're already pre-setting them and setting up those expectations for them. So when you get on the calls with them, it's a lot simpler. And that's what I like about this solution you have, and especially since you focus it on contractors, not just anybody. Because I know, some are like, oh, we can put a funnel together. And I've been through some funnels that I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being sold to. Right. The entire time it's like, nope, sorry, click out of it. I lose interest. And that's what it is. And I think you're different that way, where you can actually curate. And I want to get more into exactly what you offer and how you not specialize. Sorry, that's not the right word. How you customize these things for people, so it doesn't feel like some kind of drudgery for your clients. Like they go through, they're not going to be bored and just kind of blow out of it. Like, this sucks. I just want to pick up the phone and call somebody. So walk me through how you customize these for everybody, and how you keep people engaged so they don't lose focus on this system.
Yeah. So you hit a couple of things there. One is the automation, the texting, the videos, and the sifting and the customization. So to start, what's really important to us is the person that we're building this funnel for, the company and the vision, the identity. So before we create anything, we truly want to understand our clients' vision and mission and values and heartbeat of their company. That way, whatever we create is going to match the way that they interact with their clients. Maybe they are a fast-paced company and they want to have, less messaging and they want to, be a little bit more salesy. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe they want to go for quality and prestige and luxury. Those two different people are going to have two different funnels that we create differently, and it operates differently. It looks different, and we want it to match your heartbeat, your voice, and your company. So if it's a more luxurious brand and you're looking for higher quality leads, you have higher average order values, and you want to have higher end clientele, then we're going to create a first step in your funnel and every step in your funnel that just gives off the vibe that you guys are a company of class and luxury. And we do that by sitting down with our clients and really understanding who they are before we get started. And so, yeah, that's how we customize to make it match your brand vision, mission, values, and voice. And then how we sift and how we automate. There's a couple other things that I kind of caught in there. So the automation process is super interesting and super fun to keep people engaged. Is every step along the process, we actually can text message the person who's going through your funnel a video of yourself or your appointment setter interacting with them through the process. So it's very unique. This is something that I actually just came up with on my own one day. I was just thinking, how can the internet is so impersonal, and I know me personally, when I'm one-on-one with somebody, I can connect, but you can't really do that through the internet as much, right? Through a funnel, through a landing page, through an ad, it's really difficult. So I just racked my brain and I was thinking, how can we make this less impersonal? And so I just thought, how can we text message videos? And actually, I went down a rabbit hole. I really tried to figure it out. Cell phone providers like to filter out text message videos because, these texts are coming from a marketing phone number, and cell phone providers like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon Wireless, they all know that, and they're trying to block you. So I tried sending texts. You can text your friend a 5 megabyte video, but you try to send it via marketing and it's not going through. I'm like, what's going on? So I tried compressing the video, changing the video, messing around with the video, changing the file types, boom, 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 trying a million different things. Finally figured it out. Threshold is, you can write this one down, 650 kilobytes and under will go through pretty much 99% of cell phone providers. And what we've done is pretty much max 15 seconds. We like to stay at 10 seconds to be healthy. And we compress the video and we're able to upload it. And what's cool is that every step along the way that going through this process, you can actually send them a video of yourself engaging with them as they're going through the process, which is really cool. And what I love about the funnel is how do we make sure we're saving our time and we're getting quality leads? Is in the funnel, we can ask any questions that we want. And here's some value for everybody listening in. 90% of ads on social media right now are doing, and even on Google search ads as well, they're saying, hey, get a free estimate. Hey, work with us. You should contact us. And instead of that, what we're doing is we're really just playing on curiosity. So more asking them, hey, would you be interested to see if you qualify for our seasonal program? Or like right now, we're really trying to work with customers doing this, that are this type of person. Would you like to see if you qualify? And what you can do, oh, okay, I just want to see if I qualify out of curiosity. And then in that first step in the funnel, you can ask them any question you want because they don't think they're being sold to, and they're not yet. So, hey, what's your zip code? What's your square footage? What are you thinking? Ask them all the questions that you like that would either qualify them or disqualify them. And then after they fill that quiz out based on their results, you can honestly disqualify them or qualify them to move to the next step in the funnel, which is, okay, hey, congratulations, you qualify. Would you like to request a free estimate right now? Then you're not getting any people going through your funnel that are not qualified. So those are a few things that we love about funnels, and our clients love about them too.
It's pretty cool. And I'm sitting here thinking as you're talking, I'm thinking like, is this, is a funnel, is a good funnel equals, the old questionnaire, right? That the standard questionnaire, which might be a PDF or something you're writing on that a client sends you back. That's it doesn't move. It doesn't have a lot of these functions and facets of a funnel, as far as the personalization side as much. They're pretty much straight up questions that you move through. Would you make that kind of a correlation between the questionnaire and a funnel, or are they completely different animals?
I would say it's definitely. I mean, the qualifying aspect of it is it's pretty much the same. The magic of the technology is having multiple steps. There's this, hey, do you want fries with it? Concept is, hey, you're here, might as well, right? So there's that commitment, consistency bias, maybe a little different than questionnaire, but the questions are the same and the sifting is the same. And then obviously the personalization and the kind of the wow factor, getting the text and the videos, your customers are, wow, this is like, I've never seen this before. This company must be super professional.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. So with funnels, I think of funnels back, and I was thinking of the gasoline option as you're talking. I'm sitting here thinking, well, actually, I go back to my late teens, early 20s when we used to use funnels for beer too. I'm sure you probably have been through that, right? Beer funnels and all that, and who could chug as much as they possibly could upside down and all that good stuff. But anyway,
yep, been there.
Yeah, for sure. And so who is the best, when you say funnels and residential contractors, who is a funnel best suited for? Do you have a certain ideal client that you've seen that gets the very best results from a funnel, or is it more for everybody? What were your thoughts with the best results?
Yeah. So for us, we found the best results using it with residential contractors. But the process itself can be used in any industry, really.
Yeah.
The only reason why we focus on residential contractors only is because that's where we have been, that's where we have had our greatest success. That's where we feel called. And honestly, what's funny is when I was growing up racing dirt bikes at the track, all my buddies either had an HVAC company or a roofing company. So I just feel like I click with them better,
Yeah.
I speak their language a little bit more than some of these classy people. I'm like, I don't speak your language. So that's kind of, why we ended up doing that as far as our marketing message. But it really can work for any business, really.
I like that. It makes sense. And, you and me as well. I grew up on a farm, a garden center, and we were always working on farms and all that stuff. So some of these different quote unquote businesses that we run into seem a little stuffy and kind of too perfect for my taste. And that's why I love contracting as well and helping contractors, because they're like my people, that's what I grew up doing. And, after the farm, getting into, outdoor living and landscape construction, all that good stuff. So I understand and feel that pain and pleasure within that environment. But, yeah, man, this is definitely interesting stuff as far as the funnel side goes. Now, if I were to be a company out there listening, thinking all right, well, maybe this whole funnel thing could work for me. What are some things, maybe a couple of questions I might ask myself before I call you to get kind of priming myself for what might be coming, and or what, if this really is going to be a good fit for me? Is there a certain age of company? Do we have to have a certain revenue? Is there a certain job size? What starts to make sense for a funnel?
So I would say that to work with us is one thing, and then using a funnel is another thing. So to work with us, we are very selective with who we work with. And that's not just a cool marketing lingo. We actually are very selective, and we open cohorts and close cohort. To work with us, we're looking to partner with companies who've been in business for a while, at least 5 years. You've crossed the 7-figure mark. That's a really easy threshold to grab onto. You've crossed the 7 figures per year mark. Before that, you can still use a funnel, and we can still help you too. We have free coaching programs. We have affordable coaching, consulting, done with you programs, but done for you. We basically we've opted out of offering a halfway service, and now we've opted into only offering the best service that we can possibly offer. And in the Bible, it says, "Do everything you do it with excellence, as if doing it for the Lord Himself." So that's what we've opted into. So therefore, the only way we can do that is by serving clients who have crossed that 7-figure per year mark. So at least 5 years, 7 figures per year. And I would say, ideally, your buyer cycle is on the quicker side, maybe, within a month. So there's custom home building, real estate, those type of transactions. We've worked with mortgage companies. Those buying cycles are a bit longer, and you have to plan to wait a little bit longer before you start seeing that ROI. So we like to work with companies who are landscaping, roofing, windows, kitchen, bathroom model, etc. Outdoor living is actually where my heart is. That's my last day job in 2014, was a sales manager or marketing manager at a outdoor living company. So I really, really love the people in the industry. The outdoor living industry is awesome. But anyways, so those quicker buying cycles is who we like to work with because we can really have results quick. I mean, within the first 30 days, we can start seeing exponential, mind-blowing results. Whereas those longer buying cycles, it's okay. We're willing to have a discussion. We're more likely to say no to that. But if the heart is right and the expectations are right, then we would be willing to listen to it. But for everyone else, if you're like, oh, that's not really me, a funnel can still work for you, and we can still help you so we've actually worked super hard to be able to offer our students, our coaching students, an option that can't quite afford, a large package, a large investment to get this going. And it still gives you the power of a funnel, but it's accessible to someone that's kind of not yet at that 7-figure mark. So hope that, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. It make sense with the shorter buying cycles, where clients would reach out and you could say, okay, today's, the first of the month and by, 30 days from now, we can be, building and it's, quicker. There's no, the design is minimized. The amount of time it takes to make decisions is minimized. So you can speed through, like you'd mentioned, landscapers and roofers, things that are pretty quick. And I'm sure the longer buying cycles just changes the dynamic of how people buy. So I totally get knowing your sweet spot's the big point, knowing where you're most effective, because then you can, impact those businesses and those people's lives a lot more consistently if you know where that stream is. So I'm happy you found that stream, where that's at.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, that's an important piece. So Brandon, as we wrap up here, how do people find you? Where can they find if they're interested in this whole funnel thing and see if it fits their business, if they, either under the 7 figures or over the 7 figures, and I guess it'll depend on how they move through the process. So how do people find you? Where can they start getting more information on what funnels could mean for their business?
Yes, for sure. So first off, if you would like to see a free case study, you can go to ddlonline.com/case-study. Again, that's ddlonline.com/case-study. And you'll be able to get access to a free case study where we took a residential contractor from $100,000 a month to $1 million a month. And we'll pull the curtain back and show you that. And number 2 would be Facebook, Brandon Guthrie. That's me. It's facebook.com/Brandon Guthrie 44. That's my old race number. Nice. And you can message me. And I really do have a heart of service. I've been transformed, and I truly do want to help. And I really do want to provide value on this podcast here today. So if you have any questions, we don't have to work together, but if you have any questions about the funnel process, I'm happy to answer any questions. Shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger, and I'm happy to answer any questions on ads, funnels, and automation, how they work together to truly bring you results. I don't want this to be a bunch of fluff we're talking about here. I know results at the end of the day, what keeps the roll going round. So.
And I appreciate that, Brandon. And guys, I wouldn't have him on this show if I thought he was full of shit like some of the different marketing agencies I've hired over the years. I know Brandon's heart's in the right place, and his system is amazing. And if he can take a company from $100,000 to $1 million in revenue, it's pretty fucking important to talk to them, at least get a sense of what's going on. Maybe it's not for now. Maybe it's something that you start planning for and budgeting for the future. But, when you have that kind of automation in place, it super simplifies the rest of your business. You can get out there. If you're a builder at heart and this whole marketing thing just kind of annoys the shit out of you, then get that in place, get it lined up, and then you can just go out and build cool shit as it keeps coming in the door. That's the bigger play here. So, Brandon, do you have any other thoughts or anything else you want to leave us with here as we wrap up?
Dude, I just appreciate you. And I know you got some really epic stuff going down, and I just really appreciate you. And I know I'm going to be sending clients your way because your process, I know, is stellar, helping landscapers become, move into that outdoor living space. Huge. I'm really excited to be able to, learn more about what you do, and just really appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you as well, Brandon. So actually, I do have one other question for you. I told you in the beginning, the listeners, that we're going to find out your favorite color. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Oh, man. Okay. So I'm going to go with red. I grew up racing Hondas. So they're obviously red dirt bikes. And so that's my favorite color, red Honda, ride red forever. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. And that takes me back to I remember back when I was probably in second grade, I got my first four-wheeler. It was actually a three-wheeler, believe it or not. Nowadays I don't know what those are, but it was a three-wheeler. It was the Honda 70. It was amazing little machine. And the crazy part was that was second grade. My brother and I both got one, and it's what we got for working on the farm for all the years. We never got paid for it, but my father would do things like that now and then. He would, find something like that, and they were on quite a deal because the three-wheelers were becoming either illegal or whatever. They couldn't make them anymore, so he got a deal on two of them. So we ran the wheels off of those things literally until it blew the transmission out of one of them, and then we put parts from one to another. Anyway. And drove those things all the way up to, we were probably 16 or 17, those little 70s. And we got pulled over on the roads. We'd be driving on not the highways, but on like the back rural roads. And we got pulled over by the cops and racing down through the woods and getting away from them. And I don't know, tons of fun stories in that realm. But anyway, you say Honda and you say red, and it takes me back to those early days of having fun and independence and freedom as a kid. So thanks for bringing that memory back. It made me smile here.
Dude, 100%. I got similar memories, man. I love it.
I love it. It's awesome. So guys, I hope you got a lot of value today here on the podcast. Brandon's a master here in the funnel space. Reach out to him. If you have any questions about this, how this might increase your, closing rate, how it can get more of your ideal clients coming through the front door. Once they come in, then we can teach you the sales process to bring them all the way home and create an experience that they're never going to forget and something they'll never stop talking about, which will help increase the long-term residual value of having a value first proposition for your clients and not worrying so much about yourself, but worry about make sure you take care of those clients first. Because man, when they're out there referring you day and night, it's like a machine that's running that you're not paying for. So you must just take care of your clients. It's a hell of a lot easier than trying to find new ones all the time that you start from ground zero. So thanks again for listening to the podcast this week. It's our goal to impact and empower 2 million people. We're already well on our way to that because of the generous hearts of all the listeners out there that constantly keep sharing our stuff, and that, hopefully they're sharing it to as many people that they can possibly can with, that are either struggling or need to hear some of these messages we talk about here. So again, greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you. I love you for all of the amazing, gratitude that you've had already for this podcast and how much you've already given and keep giving. So again, thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. And until next week, peace out.